Hi there, Bosse.
Hello.
Why is it so important that the animals get grass and hay?
It is, we give this to old breeds because when the old breeds get grain and more intensive feeding, you change the genes in them and you change the breed, you change the animals. So to keep them the way they are, so they can produce on quite late harvest hay, then it's a kind of security for the future.
Welcome. And we started this one with haymaking. And you might wonder why, but it's so important what you feed the animals for their flavour and their health. And to tell us a little bit more about it, we've got my husband, Bosse. Hello there.
Hi there. I'm now going to talk a little bit about what sheep can do for the environment and the biodiversity. People are kicking on sheep all the time. They destroy the biodiversity and destroy the planet. The last thing we saw was slugs destroy the planet. So therefore they are in good company. What I want to talk about is the North Atlantic heath as the selling point for sheep. The North Atlantic heather heath is one of the rarest environments in Europe today. I guess people on the British Islands won't agree with me because they see it everywhere and say it's so common. But it's not. It was all over Europe from Portugal up to the northern bit of Norway. And who created this landscape? It was sheep. Because the Stone Age people and later on the Bronze Age people, they cleared land to have the sheep. And over time the land started to grow with bushes. Again, they cut down bushes and they burnt the land to keep the bushes down, and you create an environment which is very suitable for heather. Over all these thousands of years this has been going on. The climate has changed from being very warm up here in the north to be very cold. We have the little ice age. And now we're going into a warmer period again. And the sheep have survived these periods. And is still working on the land. But less of it today. And with the debate today about how we make species extinct, I think we should turn the debate a little bit. How can we produce food and which benefits the biodiversity, develop brain for our children, school children, and give us material for clothes, and just be there for us. Because other animals can produce from this land too, and I'm now thinking of the bees and the honey. Heather honey is not bad. So if you have sheep, you get heather honey, you get clothes, and you get environment which is good for biodiversity. Don't kick on the sheep. And what my heart really burns for is the old breed. I'm working with gene banks in Sweden. I'm the chair of one gene bank, vice chair of another gene bank for farm animals threatened by extinct. I'm the chair for the pig, vice chair for the old breed of cows. But don't for a second believe I don't care about goats and sheep. And poultry as well. And old varieties of grain, vegetables. There's so much today. We only talk about tigers, Siberian tigers, pandas, these furry animals, wolves, bears. But nobody think about that many of sheep breeds are very short of being extinct. They are living on the brink. And we can change that, because food production can go hand in hand with biodiversity and being environmental. So therefore, like in Norway, they have a drive for making people use the sheep that lives on the heather. They have a breed of sheep called Villsau that lives on the heather. And they have a homepage, environmentalists in Norway, called Sabima, S-A-B-I-M-A, where you can find films on how to keep the landscape going and what you can do to support the local sheep. And they market it as it's cloth, knitting, for example, and you have honey, that's sweet, and you have the Christmas meat, because in Norway they use the meat from sheep very much on the Christmas table. And therefore, eat for biodiversity. School meals should have sheep or lamb on the menu instead of iffy chicken. Mass-produced chicken, mass-produced pork, mass-produced everything, but healthy food. The schools are scared for that. And we know about what makes children's brain develop and give them an IQ. Chinese have investigated this, Japanese, and my sister did 7 years on it. So therefore, I know we need EPA, fat acids, DHA, and long-chain carbon atoms in the fat acids. And that's exactly what you can get out from the sheep in the right environment and the right breed. Thank you.
So tell me, what were you up to and why is it so important what they're fed?
I was cutting the birches, and that's the last thing I cut for the year. And the birches, like you saw, was full of beautiful flowers, and every flower have their own little mineral, micro mineral, that is their favorite. And with all these different micro minerals, we need that too. So you get healthy animals, healthy humans.
Because we are what we eat.
Exactly. We are what
And the
we eat.
Butterflies and the bumblebees were having a great time as well when you were haymaking.
Oh yes, I always save a little bit for them that I don't cut until very late.
And can any sheep eat your hay?
No. You have a big one in intensive feeding, and that grow very quickly. They won't do well of it.
So it's very much the heritage animals, be
Yes.
they sheep, cattle, goats, that benefit from the hay and being pasture fed, which we hear a lot about today.
Yeah.
But that's so important.
They grow slowly. And Ronny Jonsson up on Shetland did a test on his animals, both cattle and sheep. And they have omega-3, omega-6, 1-to-1. And that's the most healthy food we can have.
Wow, it's fantastic.
Yes, it is fantastic, It is.
So, thinking about the breeds, we've got lots of breeds here today. Little sheep, why is it so important that we focus as we do and believe in these heritage breeds?
It's because of biodiversity, healthy food, and can transform food we can't eat into very healthy food. So biodiversity is very important, and sheep are part of the biodiversity. They create biodiversity, and then themselves are biodiversity.
And the ironic thing is that we tell people so often, if you don't eat it, they don't survive, they become extinct. So you've got to create that market, and then we've got them there for our food security for the future.
It's very important to create a market for them. It is. So if you want to do something for the biodiversity, eat them.
Well, that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to show how to cook them. You're going to come back for a taste.
Oh yes. I'll be back for a taste.
So we're going to start up in Orkney with the North Ronaldsay sheep. Now the North Ronaldsay sheep are harvested, they're brought in, punded they call it, once a year, and there isn't a North Ronaldsay to be had at the moment on Scotland, but they date from over 8,000 years old, and they are what is known as the seaweed eating sheep. You can see them here on the beach on the foreshore, and the wall was built around the island on the most northerly Orkney Isle, so that the plan was that the cattle could live on the pasture and the sheep could just get sorted themselves on the seaweed, and they did, and they survived. And because of that, they have got a very specific diet and a very specific taste, a gamey taste, and they all benefit from slow cooking. And the North Ronaldsay sheep is Scotland's first and at the moment only Presidium. And I did a little book about it, which is available online for you free to download. And if you're particularly interested, or you have a child that's doing a project, do get in touch, because we've got a few of these leaflets left, and I'd be delighted to send you one. So it's all about the story of the North Ronaldsay sheep and some recipes. And they also produce some lovely wool as well. So there's a lot to be said for these old heritage breeds. Many of them have got beautiful yarns and wools. So it appeals to the whole trend of knitting as well. Next one we have here, ta-ra, is the Shetland sheep. A little bit further north. Bruce has already just mentioned them. These ones are on Udderdale, and Richard Briggs has Shetland sheep too. And you can see, like so many heritage sheep, they have a lovely range of colours for fantastic natural yarns. So we've got some Shetland sheep here. I have made a lovely Scottish broth, and I've used barley and carrots and Musselburgh leeks that are on the Ark of Taste from our kitchen garden. And this is what my granny would call a rib sticker soup. There's our first dish. Very economical and very nutritious. Next up, we go to Excalibur in the back here. This is his name. And this is a Hebridean sheep. They are amazing. And this is some Hebridean that I pot roasted, and I've done it as cold cuts with some red currant jelly, and it's really delicious. Next up, we've got, need an oven glove here, we've got the soy. Now the soy is about the nearest we've got to a goat. And it's the most ancient of all the sheep. It's got a degree in escapology, and they're from the Isle of Soy. And here is the soy, which I've been pot roasting away here. Again, not giant cuts, but giant on flavour. And there's lovely juices in the pan that will be thickened with a little bit of corn flour and will be amazing. I'm going to just cut a little bit here to let you see. Many of these breeds are not killed till 3 years old and sold as mutton. Occasionally you get a Hebridean lamb if it suits the farmer or the crofter, but generally they're sold as hogget or mutton, and you can see how beautiful that is. So here I've got a rack, but again it can be any kind of cut, and you can buy a half sheep, and all the information for where to get these is on the website. And sizzling behind me here, I've got some carrots that have been roasting in a little bit of butter with some courgettes, and just at the end I'm going to add a little bit of honey just so they're caramelised to serve with this beautiful borderie. We'll just give that a little chefy sugar. And as I say, that's just pure butter in there, so this will be lovely with our borderie. There we are. So we have 4 sheep here today, not the North Ronaldsay, but a great selection, all cooked differently, all different cuts, so many things to choose from. And just go for your native sheep. Ask for the breed, ask for the feed, and celebrate Scotland's Ark of Taste, because these are something to treasure. Bosse, are you coming back for a taste?
Yes, I am.
I better give you a fork.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to have a little dig into that soy.
I wouldn't miss this for anything. Yeah. Oh, you can. Yes.
Yeah, I think you'll manage that bit. He won't be able to speak once he's got that in his mouth, so maybe you should say bye-bye.
Mm. Mm.
Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.